Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. Very special show. First team up ever.
Let's go.
Well, yes, it. My guy, my inspiration, J Ellis of the Nick of Time show is in the house along with Lee Escobedo.
What's going on,
brothers?
I'm happy to be here. Definitely happy to be here. You're doing great work. Funny enough, like somebody who's listened to both channels kind of was like, "Yo, J Ellis, you should reach out to George because that's the only two channels I really watch." And it kind of got the wheels going with this. So shout out to you.
That's awesome. Shout out to whoever suggested it. I've definitely heard the same stuff, and Lee as well. Lee was like, "We got to get J Ellis."
How lucky am I? I got my two Knicks content creator mentors here. Got my main man, J Ellis, host of a Nick of Time show, who's brought me on. I've been so honored to be a guest and now a part of his show as a co-host. That's my main man. And George, as a Latino into space, doing his thing, been someone who I've been looking at to inspire me and keep me going. It's great to have familiar faces and, like-minded minds in here. So, man, I'm ready to talk Knicks. Let's go.
Awesome, man. I feel the same way. I feel privileged to have you both on the show. I think you guys are amazing basketball minds. I listen to your show, almost every time, as much as possible. Not always live because I'm recording when you guys are on and stuff, and I drop my video and that. But then afterwards, I'm like, oh man, I should have brought that up. Oh, that's a good point. So now I got you guys here, and we're here to talk Knicks. Welcome to the chat. Thank you guys for joining us here. If you share this video, definitely share this video. This is the first time the three of us are together. We're going to get into talking about everything Knicks right now. We're going to talk about the latest trade rumors, and we're going to preview the matchup against the Nets. Now, we got off to a late start today. As you know, I'm out here in Los Angeles, so the game starts much earlier here, and Saturday mornings are a little rough in LA. And just a little bit. I see Geraldine McIver's in the house. Welcome, Geraldine. Great to see you. Eddie F. Drew reviews music. I Do Wonders. I love that title, man. Hey, hope everything's well with everybody and they're enjoying their Saturday. And we're here going to watch. Hopefully, we're going to watch Knicks get 3 in a row against plus 500 teams. How are you guys feeling about this team right now? I'm going to start with J Ellis.
I feel really good, man. I feel really good about where this team is right now. From the start, I kind of saw this team as a 500 team. So for me, it was just like, okay, I feel like we're a 500 team. We have a lot of young players getting major minutes in Mitch Robinson, RJ Barry, Ryan Quickly, Quentin Grimes, and Sims, even though I think Sims should get more minutes for Hartenstein. And also, even though there's this whole thing about being mid, I still feel like considering how many young players we have on the squad, considering the winning percentage, considering that we have Julius Randle, and also on top of that, Jalen Brunson are kind of playing at a high level, and we're not paying them, first-rate money. I feel like we're in a really good space. And these last two wins versus the Cavs and also versus the Celtics make my outlook of the team even higher. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Hopefully we keep that up. And if that continues, then my head is just going to get really big and no one's going to be able to shut me up.
Hey, I remember watching you during the 2020-21 season. And you were very excited about that squad, and I was too. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling that tingling again. I'm starting to shed all the gloom and doom of the early start. Starting to believe in Mr. MVP candidate Julius Randle. So I'm feeling good about it. How about you, Lee?
Well, I've been super optimistic about this team from the jump. I thought about a couple of things before the season started. I was like, if we have a full season healthy of Mitch, if Julius Randle can return to form of what he was 2 seasons ago, if a couple guys on the bench can make some moderate improvements to their game offensively and defensively, and Jalen Brunson's addition, I really thought he would be unlocked in New York because of his familiarity with Tom Thibodeau and the trust the Tids would have right off the bat to throw him into the fire and get guys going and him be able to his bucket, I saw a 50-burger. And I got laughed at. I almost got laughed at.
Sure did. That was me. That was me.
I almost got laughed at. 50-burger. And I think if we hadn't dropped so many really close games during the month of December and early January, I think we would be on track for that, because Julius Randle is legitimately now, after I said it, an MVP candidate, baby. Number 10. Baby.
Yeah, number 10. Right now, he's number 10 on the NBA.com list. Yeah.
That's huge. If he can keep that play up, I don't think there's enough time for us to hit 50, but man, we could be a deadly team in the playoffs. Not predicting finals. I'm just saying we could be a hard out, is all I'm saying.
I agree. I mean, you guys probably know I'm generally pretty optimistic, though I'll lay the hammer down when I'm fed up about something. I mean, I probably have asked for Thibodeau to get fired at least a half a dozen times.
Let's go.
That's why you and Lee are friends.
Well, because he was just being his stubborn self. He wasn't doing things that actually were going to end up helping him achieve his goal, which is to get the team into the playoffs. And when he finally started trusting the young guys, like you pointed out, J Ellis and Lee, like starting Grimes, I mean, that when he finally did that was a big sign that he's really willing to embrace the youth on this team. Now, Leon had to take away some of his toys, to help ensure that, because he defaults back to what he knows and what he trusts. But now benching Fournier it's not an easy move, really. You benching an $18 million a year guy who has the Knicks record for most made threes in a season, and he did it last season. So that showed a tremendous desire on his part to just embrace whatever tools there are now to try and win. Now he still defaults back to the ISO play in the fourth quarter and all that stuff. But in general, I have seen a change in Thibs. And even though I don't necessarily still think he's the guy, to get us to the promised land, but we're not there yet either. The main issue is, is Leon building a team for Thibs to win? Does that mean bringing in, vets that are on the way out, or does it mean bringing in young guys? So that's the struggle. We still don't know what that actually means yet, and Leon is still yet to make a trade to tell us, to give us that indication. So I'm curious about where we're going to go with this team, and we're definitely going to get into that here on the show. Hit that thumbs up button for us if you get a chance, and subscribe to both shows if you haven't. If you're new here, if you're new, drop a new hashtag new in the chat, and welcome everybody. Welcome Andrew Candela, Jeff San Juan. Great to see you guys. DJ Dax, what's up? We got a great group here. Ronaldo Maldonado. We got the Latinos in the house. I barely speak Spanish anymore, so I always get jammed up with my Spanish. One thing I wanted to ask you guys is, do you think what do you think happened last season with Randle? J Ellis, what happened? Why do we have this gap between what he was in the All NBA season, right, and then last season, because it's kind of screwed everything up in a lot of ways. And then now he's back, and he's even better than he was before.
Well, one, I think he's a very volatile, very emotional guy who hates losing. And I think when you care that much, sometimes it doesn't always manifest in the most healthiest ways. And I think we saw a lot of that last season. Also, I kind of feel like the league started catching up to him a little bit on like where he likes to go on the floor. He's not like a pure point guard per se. He can play make, but we don't want him to be the full point guard. And with the league catching up and still not having solving that point guard issue, I think it kind of helped him implode. Like he tried something. We got Kemba Walker here. That didn't work. Tibbs didn't play IQ. He elected to go Alec Burks. and it still didn't really help carry the load for Julius Randle. And I'm also kind of on the belief that something was happening personally to me, because even when you was watching the games in December, even on wins, he just looked like he didn't want to be there. So
yeah,
I almost felt like something was happening.
There was that famous game. He walked off the court without celebrating with his guys.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like a 30 for 30 is gonna come out like years from now, and they'll be like, the year when Randall booed the fans. This is what was happening. Like, he stubbed his toe. He had a new baby. He lost a bunch of money. I feel like some story would come out.
Something happened. Yeah, I do think there is something personal that happened, and which he got it straightened out. I also the whole thing about him doing like these meditations on the court.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I love seeing that. It shows that he was listening. He was listening to all of us, to the fans, even though he told us he told us that, but he was also listening, and he came back with an actual response that has made him much better than ever. And that is growth. That's something I'm definitely embracing, even though I've said in the past, when he starts playing well, let's try and trade him, get as much value as we possibly can. But he's crossed over now.
Yeah.
He's gotten to a level where he might be. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, who's a better power forward in the game right now than him? I mean, he's up there in the top 5. The way he's playing right now.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely been some personal issues. J Ellis is right. It's I even feel weird speculating on it, because you're really just pulling out of thin air and trying to make connections with what we see on social media and what he said in interviews, and try to connect the dots and formulate something that could impact his game to the level that it did last season. But I try to look at the external factors that he had no control over that impacted the drop. And that was not having a real point guard. J Ellis touched on it. Not just not having a real point guard, but having one that wasn't really prepared to play NBA level basketball for an 82-game season, Kemba Walker, who just completely broke down, and by the second month he was here, he couldn't even play back-to-backs anymore. Then he had to have like 2-game rests. Then he couldn't play the entire 4 quarters. It was a complete unmitigated disaster by Leon Rose. Great value deal that he got him on, but he should have been looking higher than that and taking a bigger swing. And then Alec Burks, selecting Alec Burks over Emmanuel Quickley at the point. J Ellis also touched on it. Also a cataclysmic mistake, because you're not putting someone in there that isn't just facilitating and looking for Randall, but also doesn't draw any attention away from Randall either. Even though Alec Burks was a solid 3-point shooter, he's a solid catch shooter.
He was overburdened.
On ball, no one's collapsing around Alec Burks. So Julius Randle was having double team every game, every set, every possession. That's really tough to play through. And then you had Tom Thibodeau, that relationship has always been toxic, but when Randle is on, it's mitigated because Randle supersedes any bad play calling.
By toxic, what do you mean by toxic?
They enable each other's worst.
Toxic for us fans, you mean?
Yes.
All right, yeah.
And I think toxic for them too.
They love each other.
But I think the on-court product suffers from their relationship as well. It becomes stagnant and ISO-driven. So when you have a coach who's not going to put your player in creative, unique situations to get them high percentage shots, it falls strictly on Randle to do that himself. And that's not what his strengths are. So I think all those things compounded really made for a bad fall season on Julius Randle. I'm just so happy to see him back, man. I love feeling the joy and love for him again. It's been really nice to feel.
We have a news break just happened now. Woj just dropped the bomb. Indiana Pacers center Miles Turner has agreed to a 2-year, $60 million contract extension that includes an additional $17.1 million renegotiation on his 2022-2023 salary. His agent, Austin Brown of CAA Sports, tells ESPN. So Miles Turner has been extended. 2-year, $60 million, and
That's
includes
crazy.
renegotiating. So it's probably, it's great. It's interesting. I wonder how much they probably brought up this year's salary up into the 20s, early young.
That's surprising.
That man has been in trade rumors forever.
and he still didn't get traded.
Yeah, it still didn't get traded. They gave him an extension finally. Well, good for him. Good for the Pacers.
Yeah, I'm curious if this is a way to lock him down and then you trade him, because that's a pretty good deal. $60 million. for.
It makes it hard to believe that they would do that because it doesn't seem like the Pacers would want salary back. If the Pacers were getting rid of Miles Turner, I would think they would want to stay under the salary cap and try not to bring on extra money and get more of a pick-driven staff or a haul in return. So it's kind of a weird move. I guess Rick Carlisle is co-signing the Miles Turner at center position. That's going to be their center for the future because they're on the up and up. They're at some good momentum right now.
How long is the contract?
It's just a 2-year. It's not $30 million a year.
So,
it's a $2 million, but they renegotiated this season's contract, which he was only making $17 million this year. So I could, you know what I mean? Like they probably threw like $8 million at this season.
Okay.
And then it's 52, so it's probably $26 million per is what it comes out to.
Okay, so what they're really doing is they don't want to lose an asset. That's what it really is. They're trying to negotiate. He turned it down, and they don't want to lose a stretch 5, which is a premium right now in today's NBA, for nothing. So it's kind of similar to what was happening with Phoenix with DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is, to me, great talent. He's not worth the money that he got in my eyes, but you can't risk losing talent for nothing in the NBA. Yeah. So you sign them and hope he can flip him later or build on him later. That's why it's a 2-year deal. I feel like if they really believed in him, the year would be 4 years.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I was thinking, maybe in the offseason they're getting ready to trade him then, because then he's locked down for 2 more years. And let's say we're right, and it is at $26 million per. That's not bad for a center that's a stretch 5 like him, who has led the league in blocks in the past. So that's not bad. Interesting. We got a little news break right when we were on the air. Thank you, Liam. Yeah. All right, so let's get to this. Here. Here we go. I haven't done a show with 3 of us in a while. All right, so the first rumor that is still living, it won't die, this Grayson Allen rumor. So Michael Scotto put this out, I believe it was today, in his Hoops Hype article. Sources, the Bucks have discussed the 2023 second-round pick and salary fillers in trade talks with the Knicks involving Cam Reddish. Now, in the actual article, it says here, as reported in the most recent Hoops Hype NBA notebook, the Knicks have expressed interest in acquiring Buck sharpshooter Grayson Allen in trade talks involving Cam Reddish. However, Milwaukee has resisted including Allen in conversations surrounding Reddish thus far. Instead, Bucks have kicked around the idea of a 2023 second-round pick and salary fillers in trade talks with the Knicks for Reddish. Potential fillers could include George Hill and Serge Ibaka. First question I have is, should Grayson Allen be a Knick? J Ellis.
Should he be a Knick? I feel like Grayson Allen is a great player in his role. Shoots around 40% from 3. He can play defense. I think any NBA team who has a solid 3-and-D guy on their bench is going to be useful. So he fits on any team, really, realistically. Now, for us, I feel like we are caught in between this youth movement versus veteran presence balance thing. And I like Grayson Allen, and I like him in his role. He plays a decent role. But at the same time, I kind of feel like if we're going to have Grayson Allen be a Knick, even though I feel like we actually might be a little better for it on the bench, I'd rather keep plugging away at having McBride play some more and develop him to see where he can be. Because for me, Grayson Allen has a ceiling as a role player, so I'd rather develop our own role player than bring on another role player and then block that younger guy's development. Even though I feel like today, he would be a really good addition on our bench, and I feel like Tibbs is going to trust him from there.
So you're kind of like, you're down for it, but because it would help us, but at the same time, you see obstacles in the future for guys like Deuce.
Right. I would say personally, my answer is no. Even though I like him, but for us, I don't like him because I don't think that's a huge need for us. If I'm going to block another player's development on this team, I want a prototype that's going to be a long-winged, 3-point shooting, defensive type of young,
like a long 3-and-D.
Like a long 3-and-D. If I'm going to block development of a young player, I'd rather be another young player who fits that prototype. I don't want to block the development of
We need a new term to describe those guys, because there's the 3-and-D. Those guys are like 6'5" to 6'7".
I want 6'7". We have a 6'5" in Grimes. So I want.
But there's also the Trey Murphy 3-and-Ds that are 6'9".
Well,
Terry Eason, that's a 6'10", 6'9". That's what I want.
Well, yeah, I didn't say just 6'7", 6'7" and up, all right? Yeah. 6'7" and up.
So Lee, what do you think? What do you think about this trade itself? Just switching. Cam Reddish is just sitting on the bench doing nothing, and we're going to lose him. Like J Ellis was pointing out, we got to hold on, do something with our assets. We can't let them walk. What's your feeling about that kind of a trade? Swap between these two teams.
What's going on in Milwaukee? Let's pull this Brian Windhorst off, because it's a weird optic for a championship team, a team that's won a championship that doesn't have a whole lot of moves to do based on their salary, limited picks, and limited young players to move someone like Grayson Allen. Why is a contender looking to move on from Grayson Allen? Why is Milwaukee?
They don't want to, though. They don't want to. They're rejected.
Why would that even be an option? It's being talked about. So why is it even
talked about? I've heard from other sources.
If a contender's looking to move on from a player, it means it's either disruptive in the locker room, or they don't see them as a real fit and as part of their rotation once they hit the playoffs.
Hold on, Lee. I think it's the Knicks are inquiring about Grayson Allen, and the Bucks are like, nah, chill.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, he ain't coming.
But I've heard it in other areas as well. Other teams were inquiring about him and stuff. I don't know. Maybe they at first were thinking about trading him. Maybe now they don't want to because they value what he gives them. But there might be something like, he definitely has attitude issues. He's a bit of a dirty player. I'm not sure. But at the same time that I would like to see a little more fire, on our squad. A little bit of that 90s nasty, a little bit. But it has to be the right kind. Yeah. I think he seems a little too wild, and I wouldn't like him around Randall, personally. I mean, we got ourselves a bona fide MVP candidate right now in Randall, and we don't want him messing that, So I'm concerned about bringing him. I love what he does on the court, except for the dirty plays and stuff. But in terms of his hustle, he's an excellent shooter. The guy can defend. He's got a live body. He's not the most athletic guy, but he definitely hates to lose. That guy hates to lose. So all those things are great, but I think also just something in his mental makeup doesn't seem right for this particular Knicks team. Yeah, we have a lot of nice guys, good guys.
It doesn't move the needle for me. It's like I don't even think that his minutes would be guaranteed by Tibbs. I think Tibbs really likes the rotation he has, especially at the 1-2 spot. He's really likes McBride, likes IQ, loves Grimes, and Brunson's always going to play. So whose minutes is he taking? I don't see it. Even though he is a very good three-point shooter, I don't think we're at the place yet, contention-wise, for a Grayson Allen move to make sense for us. I would rather get a better draft pick in return for Cam, or a young player that might be damaged goods with a really high ceiling. Yeah. To me, that's the route that we should be going. Anyone over 6'7", also agree with J Ellis. We have those 6'4", 6'5" guys in droves. So let's hit someone a little bit taller who naturally stretch the floor and play some defense.
I agree.
And no George Hill. No George Hill.
What about Serge Ibaka? What about Serge Ibaka as a filler?
No,
and we're going to lose Cam Reddish.
Get the picks.
Get the pick better.
Anything but Serge Ibaka and Hill.
All right.
I mean, they're just for salary filler. They're just to make the deal work. It's really about the picks. But
I'll tell you, I'm a thumbs down on it. But if they do make this trade, I'll be, praying that it works out, because I know he definitely could help this team. Like you said, J Ellis, he could help at least now for the next 3 months for our playoff run. He would definitely would help us. But like Lee was saying, then what are the Bucks doing? What are they thinking?
Yeah.
Can he help them? So it's a weird situation. But I like Ibaka, because we need a big body to eat up some minutes, because we got these two guys right now who they commit a lot of fouls. Sims and Ihart, they commit a lot of fouls. So we could end up getting compromised in a situation where, and we know Thibs doesn't really like doing the small ball, or doesn't really know how to do it well.
I think that's more reason why not to get Ibaka. To be honest with you, it's like, oops, we don't have Sims.
Yeah,
oops, we don't have Hartenstein. Slide Randall at the 5.
Yeah,
play Obi at the 4. Let's play small ball. Like, I feel like that's even more reason not to trade for it.
I like that. I like that as well. All right, let's move on to the next trade rumor, the one that just seems to never die. OG Anunoby. And this I picked up from a Raptors website, a Raptors rumors website. Knicks reportedly offered multiple first-round picks for OG Anunoby in December. Now, this guy picked up Ian Begley's report, and it's interesting to listen to it from their point of view. And I'll read it here. And the Knicks are interested in acquiring his services, or at least they were. According to SNY's Ian Begley, the Knicks made an offer for Anunoby in December before the eight-game winning streak that vaulted them back into playoff contention, and they were willing to pay a pretty hefty price per Begley. Also worth noting in their conversation about Anunoby prior to the winning streak, New York was comfortable offering multiple first-round picks for Anunoby. I don't think these talks were at an advanced stage at that point, but all of the above strongly suggests that the team's decision makers have so far focused on improving the roster at the February 9th trade deadline before. Of course, this doesn't tell you what kind of first-rounders the Knicks were offering up. They have a bevy of protected firsts from other teams, as well as their own picks. Were they willing to throw in an unprotected first or two? That would be a mistake, in my opinion. Interesting. So this, just flat out, I'm curious to hear you guys, because I don't know if I've actually heard you guys talk about it on your show. How do you see?
We have.
You have? Okay. All right.
We definitely have.
What do you guys think about OG on these Knicks?
Go ahead, Lee. I'll let you go.
I'm into it. It's kind of interesting. I feel like the same Knicks spirit has been visiting J Ellis and I in our dreams, because we both have this strong premonition that this trade's going to go down. We hear the Knicks are attached to so many wild rumors and have been for decades. This one, for some reason, feels really authentic. First, prayers up to OG. I was watching the game last night where he got injured. I thought he broke his arm. He landed that hard on his arm last night.
Oh yeah, has there been an update?
He has a left wrist sprain, so he's out tonight against the Blazers. But I'm assuming he might be back in a little while. Prayers up, man. That was a hard foul he took and landed right on his arm. But the trade, I'm actually pretty bullish on this. I would give up 3 firsts, and I would give up Obi. I would give up a Knicks unprotected pick, and 2 out of the 3 picks we have between Washington, Detroit, and Dallas, plus Obi Toppin to make the deal work. I like OG. I think OG gives us insurance to be able to trade either a Grimes or an RJ or an IQ or OG in the future when we go after an even higher level player.
Well, we don't know how many. They just said multiple first-round picks. We don't know if it was 3. It could have been 2.
I'm just guessing 3.
Yeah.
3 is a number that.
No, there was that other rumor that there were 3. The aggregate. I forgot which aggregator put that out. Knicks. A team has offered 3 first-round picks, and then people started assuming, oh, it's the Knicks.
Yeah, I think it was us. So it's 2 protected of other teams, and then 1 unprotected of ours. Plus OG can play some 4 to back up Randall. You can start the 3, move RJ back to his most comfortable position at the 2. Gives us a big, long, athletic lineup of guys who can hit threes, defend at a high level. And OG can get his own shot too, which I like. We have another shot creator at the wing position going to the playoffs. Again, we're even more of a dark horse than we already are.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Lee on all counts. Only one unprotected pick though. I just think that we're missing that wing defender so bad. And shout out to Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes has done a phenomenal job most nights guarding the NBA's best offensive player. It would be amazing to have another guy who can do the same thing, because too many times, especially when we face these teams with long wings, like the Raptors, or shoot, even the Spurs. Like we beat the Spurs one time, but it was still a struggle facing up against those longer wing guys. So we need one of those guys on our team to kind of help us out in the long run. So I'm down for that trade that Lee has proposed. If it's going to cost us anything more than that, I'm not doing it though.
Agreed.
So 3 first-round picks, 2 protected, and 1 unprotected is what you guys are thinking.
Right. Yeah. And I'll also say this. I was very hesitant when Lee brought this on. When Lee brought this up before, because the long-term plan is to bring in another all-star, and usually another type A personality, top 20 player all-star costs you 3 unprotected first-round picks. So if we use one of our picks for him, it could short us in a future trade. But I guess what I'm hoping is that if it comes to that, we can use him or another player to actually in that trade to bring in an all-star. That's my thinking.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, like here's the one thing about it. Okay, so we have 3 protected picks from other teams.
Mm-hmm.
If you package all those 3 together and ship them out for somebody, that's nice and clean. The problem is if we try to add protections to our picks, it screws up our ability to be able to make a trade later on for those other picks. Because you don't, when you put protections on a first round pick, it limits your flexibility in trading future picks as well, because you don't know if it's gonna convey over to the next season or not. You don't know. So that limbo, then it makes it, like you were saying, J Ellis, like it makes it difficult. It's going to cost you 3 picks, 3 unprotected picks, if we're going to get that superstar. And if, let's say, we traded the 2025 Knicks pick, but we threw a protection on it, then it makes it difficult to create a clean package for that superstar later on. So that is an advantage of just foregoing 1 pick, 1 Knicks pick, and putting the other 2 protected ones. I think it's there's the Milwaukee one, and what's the other good one? The Detroit one.
Yeah. Milwaukee and Detroit. Detroit might convey in like 2026, 2027. I think 2026 is top 11 protected for Detroit, and 2027 is top 9 protected.
There you go. So that one, and I think the Bucks is only top 4 protected. So that's not really a protected pick anymore.
It's really not.
Yeah. You know what? You guys sold me. You convinced me that if we could do this, but the thing is, we'd have to give up. I'd rather put Cam in there and.
Absolutely.
You know, I'd rather hold on to Obi. I still believe in Obi. I think Obi could be, could be a part of that superstar package. Another team is going to look at him. They're going to be like, this is a starting power forward in the NBA right here. This guy's a 20-8 guy.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, bona fide, absolutely 100%. He is a bona fide. If he gets a starting role on a team like the Pacers, for example, he'd be great on the Pacers. Yeah. Imagine him with Halliburton and stuff. It's going to be.
I agree.
So that's too valuable to give up for OG, in my opinion. That potential.
You know what it is though, George? Like we see it the same way, right? I see Obi as a future 28 guy if he ever was to get started minutes. But when I look at Obi, I don't see him ever getting an opportunity here to be that guy and maximize him as an asset as long as Randall is here. And Randall is playing like arguably, like you guys said, MVP level. So And then on top of that, to even get him more minutes, you have to play him alongside Randall. So like let's just say, you know, we have Mitch here, we have Sims here. We increase Obi's minutes at the 4 and slide around at the 5. How many minutes at the 5 do you think Randall should be playing for per game? To slide Obi at the 4. So like maximum what? Now you have maximum Obi playing extra 5 to 10 minutes. So his ceiling to me, even with everything going on, is still 3 minutes a game or something.
Even that might be high. I was thinking 20. I was thinking about this in the past. How many minutes can we actually get for Obi? Let's say we did do some small ball, had Randall at the 5. I think even then you probably only have Obi average 20 minutes a game,
right?
With the Knicks.
Yeah. I said 23 to be generous, like to think about the absolute,
that's the highest,
right? So even if we do get a coach here, because I know everybody doesn't like Tibbs here, and you know, I notice his limitations too. But even if you do get a modern coach here with this team, like there's still a limit, which means like there no matter what path you take, there's going to be a dead end with the trade asset sitting in Obi, which is why you're like, all right, well, you know, maybe this is the way we should go. Not because I don't believe in him, but
he's not. But I think we all agree. But I don't think this is the deal to give up Obi in. You know, I think we have other assets. I think Cam is a great asset for Toronto, and I mean, maybe we do have to put Deuce in the trade here.
Knicks don't want to give up Deuce.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is
the reason that I say Obi over Cam. I also agree that I think Obi on almost any other team would be 20-8. That's never going to happen on the Knicks. There's just no outlet for that. There's no possible scenario. Including him in the deal opposed to Cam keeps the protections on those other 2 picks and mitigates having to add another unprotected pick or another Knicks pick, even protected or not, into the formula of the deal. So because you're giving them someone who has a lot of potential, that way we only have to give up one of ours, and then the other two can be a Milwaukee or a Washington or a Dallas. That's the reason that I include Obi over Cam, and you don't disrupt the starting unit. And you actually give the bench additional depth by putting Grimes on the bench as well, because RJ would start over Grimes, and then OG would be the starting 3. So that's why I want to keep Obi. I mean, put Obi in that deal because it just helps us keep some of the pick draft capital for a future trade. Toronto don't want Cam. Cam's value is just like, it's so low right now.
Yeah.
You take that back as a player. They don't want something better than Cam, especially Masai.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
The thing is, they'd also have a similar issue. I mean, they got Siakam. Siakam's balling out too, so it's not like Obi's going to get that many. He's not going to be the starting power forward for Toronto.
Nick Nurse isn't Tom Thibodeau. He doesn't see positions the same way that our dinosaur does. He'll play both of them in the front court. He's done small ball. Siakam's actually played center.
He's playing center this year.
He played center against us.
Yeah.
It goes back and forth between him and Precious Achua, but for the most part, if he has Obi Toppin, he'll play Siakam at center and Obi at the 4.
I don't want the Obi to get traded in this deal, but I see the logic behind including him in it. It's tough. It'll be painful. But I think we do lose. We're gonna have an issue in that second unit for power forward minutes. I guess Anunoby could play that.
He would.
He would fill that role there, but. The one to me, he'd be like our Mikal Bridges, and excellent two-way player. Is he a superstar? No, I know a lot of people do think the OG Hive is huge, but I don't believe him to be that way. I think he's going to be. If he becomes what Mikal Bridges is to a winning team, then that's gold.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it makes RJ's life a little easier. He drops down to the 2, and we get bigger overall in that front line. And then Grimes goes to that second unit, and Grimes can still play. He'll still play 25, 26 minutes a night. He'll still get a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
It helps Thibs become more comfortable with his rotation, and maybe he won't, overload the minutes on the main three guys, because now he's going to have another really top quality guy in OG, and we still got Grimes, and we got IQ.
Yeah.
So he would be a nice addition to the Knicks. It's just a matter of giving up on Obi, and that will hurt. That will hurt me.
It hurt. It hurt me too, man. I've been talking about this same subject for like 2 years now. And every time I mention it, I'm like, it makes more sense, but it still hurts.
Yep.
This was a nice tweet that Alan Hahn, Mr. Solo, put out today. It said, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, and RJ Barrett form one of the best young scoring trios in the NBA. In fact, they are one of 3 teams in the NBA to have 3 players under the age of 30 averaging at least 20 points per game this season. They are the only of the 3 over 500, as the others are the Wizards with Beal, Kuzma, and Porzingis. It's weird that Beal is still under 30 years old. And the Hornets, Ball, Oubre, and Rozier. And I was surprised the Hornets had 3 guys averaging 20. And I went and checked it, and they do. This is interesting. This is why I don't consider, when people were like talking negatively about the team, we're the mid three, but they are young.
Yeah.
To think they're not going to get better, to think RJ is not going to get better over time, or even Brunson. Come on.
Yeah.
Brunson's he might be an all-star this year. This I was. Did you guys find this surprising at all?
I don't know about this. I looked at these other 2. All 3 trios here are mid, in my opinion. I'm not trying to hate on a Knicks. I love Brunson, love Randall. I've lost a lot of love for RJ, but none of these trios right here are like superstar trios, and also all 3 of them only have 1 guy in each of those trios that's homegrown: RJ, Beal, and Ball. The other ones were brought in via trades or free agent signing in Oubre's case. But yeah, I mean, like, what does that really mean? Like 3 guys that scored 20 that are under 30, but like, all 3 of these teams might not make the playoffs. Like Washington's around the precipice. Hornets are out. The Knicks are in a play-in tournament right now. Might move up to the 6th seed, but it's like, what has that really gotten us? I don't put a whole lot of stock into this stat. I wish that all 3 of the guys that were on our list were homegrown guys we drafted, but I'll take what I can get. None of these guys really don't get any. No one on this list don't get a whole lot better, except maybe Ball.
Yeah, well, Ball. Yeah, I mean, Beal has been an all-star. Beal, I think a lot of people did consider him to be.
But going to get better in the future.
No, yeah.
I mean, I have some stock in this only because, more so with the. Listen, I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm gonna have more stock in our guys being that because they are young guys. I've been a little bit down on RJ Barrett this year, but I think I still have a little bit more hope that RJ can turn around because he is young, and I have seen an uptick in his finishing and his 3-point shooting over the last 26 games ago, ever since that Dallas game happened. So I think there is something to it, especially because, the guys in our team, like, they're guys who haven't Julius Randle was a 4th option on the Lakers. Jalen Brunson was a second, like he was a late, what was he drafted? Like 30 something. He wasn't even considered a top 10 pick. He played his way into a big contract because he took on Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs, and on top of that was extremely efficient when Luka Doncic was here. So he's just starting to find his footing. And you have RJ Barrett also, who is still in his young 20s and figuring out. So I take stock in it for us because of how these guys got to this point and how many young players are on this team. And kind of like George said, like, I still feel like there's some growth to be had. I think Jalen Brunson is almost at the ceiling. There's not really that much he can improve on from me. Just like pass a little bit more and hit free throws at the end of the games, right? Like, there's not really that much he can improve on. The same thing for Randall. If Randall develops a killer instinct, then I can see him being legit MVP candidate. And RJ has a lot more to grow. So this growth for us that we had, some more than others. But I think there is something a little bit to this for us, just because we're the guys who are currently 7th in the league right now.
Yeah, we're 7th, and we may be 6th by tonight. Let's hope. The Knicks are playing the Nets today. They're going to start pretty soon, I think. I was trying to see if the game had started. Can you tell if the game has started?
Oh shoot! Look, I'm about to start.
We always, I know we always go overtime, which is okay. We'll keep talking. We're going to keep going because we got some more things to talk about. Let's see here. This to be a problem with the stream. Okay, they're not on yet. Okay. All right, cool. Well, I think this mid three argument or discussion can go on forever. And I see both sides of it, but I just look at what Randall's doing. I mean, he's probably one of the top 5 power forwards in the entire NBA right now.
It's hard to call any trio without a number 1 superstar, like not mid. Like until I know Randall is in the MVP case. I said it before anybody. I stand by that claim. I
heard it. I heard it live. I was like, yeah, look at Lee. I saw J Ellis was like, what? What? Can you repeat that?
Once we get, like I said, once we get 50 wins as a team, and we see more Randall. You saw the Randall we saw versus the Celtics. If I see that guy from here on out, then I'm on a train with you.
Well, I'm gonna hype you up right now. Look, today we're about to play game 51. The New York Knicks are firmly in 7th place, like just a half game behind the Heat for 6th. This and basically the team in the preseason, when I was looking at this team, I was a little overhyped last season about that squad because I was thinking Randall was going to carry through, and perform in that as the level that he performed in the All-NBA year is going to carry it over into the next season. Mm-hmm. And I was expecting RJ to get off to a better start and pop. And I was hoping the best for Kemba, him working out, because, I've always been a huge Kemba fan. And then Fournier was going to give us that 3-point shooting. I was hoping Mitch was going to come back and going to be, his fabulous self. Very few of those things even worked out. Fournier kind of worked out. RJ did end up leveling up, but it was later on in the season. Randall regressed tremendously. The Kemba thing didn't work out at all. And then Thibs exacerbated the problem by refusing to start quickly, and he started Burke. So that screwed up his growth. His mismanagement of Obi devalued him. Then we bring in Cam, and then that was a debacle. He sat at first. It was like, why is he sitting? And then he finally played him, and he started showing us something, and then he got hurt. So it's like so much disappointments last season. So when I approached the prognostication of this season, I tried to temper it a little bit. But I was looking at it, I was like, this team is a much better team than the 2 previous teams we've had. And if Randall could just be somewhere in between what he was last season and the All-NBA season, we could be a 45-plus win team. And I ended up going through it. I ended up at 47. We were tracking on that not that long ago until we hit the recent 4-game losing streak. But this team so now it's the reverse. Randall's even better than he was in the All-NBA season. RJ, since December 1st, has been unbelievable, shooting over 40% from the 3-point line. He's one of the best at finishing at the rim lately, or the best at getting to the hoop. Brunson has been better than I ever had even hoped he could be. And then Grimes actually gets the start. He's delivering on the defensive presence that we need out on the perimeter. And then Emmanuel Quickley, my son.
Yeah, I think George is the only guy on content creator who liked Emmanuel Quickley more than I did. Like, straight up.
I tweeted this out yesterday, and at the moment, Knicks are only 2.5 games behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. One team made the big trade, the other made the big signing, but only 2.5 games separate them in the standings. Come on, Knicks fans, let's enjoy this. Can't wait for the next 32. Well, the next 32 begins today, or it's beginning in a few minutes. I'm hyped. I'm excited about this team, even though Thibodeau is still the coach. I'm excited about the way that they're playing. The players never quit on him, so that's a big plus.
Very true.
And he's made changes. I mean, him benching Rose, taking him out of the rotation was huge for him. Mm-hmm. Like we said earlier, starting Grimes over Fournier is a big, bold move. His trust and belief in Mitch has paid off. Mitch is one of the most impactful defensive players in the NBA. And offensive rebounding is the best offensive rebounder in the NBA, tied along with Steven Adams. Even Steven Adams called him out. And then even with all the way his misuse of Emmanuel Quickley in terms of defining his role has actually worked out. Emmanuel Quickley has turned himself into such an impact player on both sides of the ball that I think it was because he had to keep proving himself to Thibs so he can get that time on the floor. At first, it was you could see it was troubling him. It was affecting his shot, but he's gotten through all of that, and he's much better than I mean, he's not as he is what I expected him to be.
Yeah,
but much better than what most people expected him to be. I mean, how are you guys feeling about this? I mean, we kind of started off the show talking about this in general, but this is the reality of the situation that we're in right now. Lee.
About the am I happy about the state of the Knicks or specifically the matchup with the Nets?
The state of the Knicks right now.
Very optimistic, but hesitant for certain reasons. James Dolan is still the owner. I'm always in the back of my head, I'm worried about some boneheaded move being made or move not being made because of his meddling, even though he has not meddled since Carmelo Anthony trade that we know of, which I'm very thankful of. It's always possible. And he just said he's going to pass it down to his family. So I guess that juice head, younger son of his, is going to end up getting the team after he retires. But the roster that we have in place, I love. I love the majority of our rotation and starters are homegrown. Guys that we drafted, Grimes, Mitch, RJ, and it's starting unit. And then Quickly, McBride, Toppin, Sims. Those are guys we drafted too that are part of his 9-man rotation. I love that. I think Leon Rose has done a really exceptional job in putting together a front office that knows what they're doing. Walt Perrin was a great hire. Retaining Scott Perry was a great move. Put in Brock Aller, so we're not over the cap and not paying luxury tax for a middling team, was a great move. So he's done a good job there. I think he's really screwed up in free agency. The majority of his free agent moves outside of Brunson have been horrific, have been detrimental to the team. We have to start attaching picks to offload some of the guys that we've signed. And our trades have been so-so. They've been so under the radar, it's really hard to gauge their impact right away. But they've been short-term goals. The Derrick Rose and Cam Reddish, the low-impact short-term goals that didn't work out. So we can move on with our young guys in the rotation in their place, which is a good thing. It's been real hard to tell what kind of team we are and what the ceiling is because of that really bad drop last season. But I think with Julius Randle playing at the MVP level, we will be back in the playoffs. Brunson is in the higher ceiling to possibly get out of the first round, strictly depending on matchups and who we're playing in the first round. I think we should get out, but then again, my biggest Achilles heel.
Depends. If we face, I don't fear the Cavs in the first round.
I don't either.
I don't fear the Sixers in the first round either.
I'm scared of the Sixers. I'm sorry.
You're scared of the Sixers?
How many? We have not beat the Sixers in how many years?
I know.
I fear Tibbs. That's my biggest fear. Is that Tibbs is our head coach. I don't trust him coaching his team in the playoffs to be an in-game adjuster, not just game by game, but series by series. And that's my biggest worry going into the future is can he unlock the full potential and talent of guys that we bring on board and that we have on the team already?
All right.
Yeah. Well, so we're feeling good, but we're a little hesitant.
Yeah. I'm always an optimist.
Yeah. I I'm feeling really good. I don't think. I mean, we just got passed through a really tough stretch of games, and we're peaking right now, and we're missing Mitch still.
Yeah.
So our ability to adapt to missing one of the key pieces of our defense is showing me that this team is figuring out multiple ways to win. And we won close games. We even gave up leads and then came back. All the things that we've been wanting to see, all the doubters have been like, well, we haven't beaten a quality team, when they were had the full squad. Well, we just did 2. Mm-hmm. We just beat the best team on their home floor. So it's and we've seen Thibodeau teams historically, once they get through that first third of the season BS, they get better. That second third of the season, they improve. And then except for last year where we had that terrible, we were like 1-12 for that 13-game stretch or something. Oh, yeah. That was but then we picked it up afterwards, but it didn't really matter at that point. But the season before, remember, we kept getting better and better and better. I think that's what's happening here with this team. Their roles are being better defined. They're leaning into them. And then, Jalen Brunson is always there. When we absolutely desperately need a bucket, he can get that bucket for us. The leaning into the ISO play too much is still an issue, but that's something I think that even the players themselves are going to work that out eventually, because they saw what happened.
Yeah.
Randall drove into the lane, found Brunson, and Brunson immediately swung the ball to the right corner, and RJ hits the big 3-pointer.
Hell yeah.
That all came off of moving that ball, trusting each other. And it just shows right there how it worked. So I think the players themselves are going to take upon that desire to go away from that slow down type approach. They like killing the clock in the fourth quarter. It kills all their momentum. But those are, those are details that are really important. I think this team, if Leon can add the right piece or two to this team without disrupting it too much, like he did with the Derrick Rose trade 2 years ago, this team could get that 6th seed, maybe even a 5th seed, and then it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
I'd be shocked if we get the 5th seed.
And we're young. Remember, we're still young.
I'd be shocked.
You'd be shocked if we got the 5th seed? Yeah, I'd be shocked too, but I'd be happy shocked.
I'd be happy shocked, but I don't expect to get the 5th seed. I feel like the 5th seed or I feel like the 6th seed right now this year is the absolute ceiling. I just can't see. I mean, I can't see us getting.
And even that, a lot of people don't believe the 6th seed is possible. There's still a lot of people who don't believe that. They keep thinking we're going to collapse.
I mean, we have like the second hardest schedule coming up in the season, and we're down Mitch, and we haven't shown the propensity to win close games thus far outside of these last 2. So I understand why people are saying that. We kind of have to prove it first for people to get on board. The last 2 games are a great step, but we have to continue to build habits, close games out, have that killer instinct. And if we start to do that, then I think more people will be on board, and including me, because I was excited to get into this part of the season because I wanted to see how we lined up against these top teams. So I want to see what we do for real.
Me too. I was terrified. I was like, we could be looking at a 10-game losing streak. I mean, I think the last time we talked about it, Lee, we were like, God, that could happen.
Who surprised me? Jericho Sims has played
he's starting today, right now. The game just started.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's played very well. He's already a naturally gifted rebounder, way better rebounder than Isaiah Hartenstein. And I think the only silver lining for Mitch being out is that he's proven to Tibbs that he is going to be a playable center in the playoffs. And I'm glad that we have him as a backup to Mitch in certain situations and certain lineups that we play. He's going to be very valuable. If we play the Cavs, we're going to need him to guard Jared Allen in certain stretches when Mitch is in foul trouble or when he sits. And I've loved seeing the emergence of Sims, no matter what. Even though you don't need touches to play defense and to rebound the ball. And he's great at boxing out, and he's gotten better at setting strings.
I'm a huge fan of Sims.
Me
huge
too.
fan. Yeah.
He deserves flowers. And Tibbs has unlocked them the same way he unlocked Mitch. So props to Tibbs.
They're as Steve Popper just tweeted out, 54 seconds into the game, and they're already chanting overrated to Julius Randle. In Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah. I've been very, very happy with Sims for all the reasons you said. And he's just he's got a very even temper as well.
Yep.
He doesn't really get too high, too low.
Like RJ.
Yeah, kind of like an RJ as well. So here we go. Tales of the tape. The game has just started, but as you can see, the Nets. I mean, they're missing KD. They're a totally different team without KD. Though Kyrie, I think, was averaging. What was he averaging in the past few games? Like probably like 40 a game or something. He's been playing fantastic ball, but not enough to deliver wins. They're 4-6 in the last 10. The Knicks are 5-5. We've been, that roller coaster of streaks. Right now, in the last 10 games, we're averaging 114.6 points. They're averaging 111. We're averaging 48 rebounds, almost 20 assists per game, which is low. They're averaging 25. The field goal percentage, they're shooting 49%, the Nets. We're shooting 47.7. 3-point shooting, they're at 38.8, and we are at 36.1. You can see the actual efficiency numbers. We are down compared to them, but we got the rebounding there. So I think this is going to be an interesting game, even though no KD. There is definitely the rivalry aspect to it. The Nets are going to show up. They're going to try to deliver their best win. I mean, it would be a huge win for them if they beat us today without KD. What do you guys think? You guys think Ben Simmons is out?
That's actually a benefit to them.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Where's the lie? That guy's been a negative.
Tommy Beard tweeted this out. Over the past 5 games, the Nets have been outscored by 39 points in the 112 minutes Ben Simmons has been on the floor. So you're right. It is.
No lie, though.
There it is.
Yep.
Okay, we finally scored one there. So it's 6-3. Nets are leading right now. Let's go. We're going to race through this, and then we're going to wrap it up here. You can see, oh, man, look at those 2 big wins for us over Cleveland. And they're tight. They were both tight. That was another thing that I was impressed by. And they beat the Warriors and they beat the Jazz, but lost to the Sixers. They lost to the Pistons not that long ago. Do you guys think we can win this game?
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You guys think we should?
We definitely can. It's not going to be easy because the Nets they've been losing a lot of games, but they've been competitive. That's a scrappy team. They're a scrappier team than last year. They have an actual coach now.
Yeah,
an NBA coach.
Yeah.
So they're a lot better coached, and they've been in games. They were in the 76ers game that they lost. But, but the thing is, like we said before, Ben Simmons isn't playing, so that helps them. And also, I think without KD, it's just all on a lot is on Kyrie's shoulders, and I think we should have enough to edge them out today for sure.
They have really good perimeter shooting, and they have a defensive player of the year candidate in Nick Claxton, who's like top 5 or 6 in defensive win shares. He's a beast in the middle, and it's really going to hurt us not having Mitch tonight. So it's going to be a great matchup for Sims to pull his weight against Nick Claxton. It's a really good matchup. It's all about containing Kyrie, because when he gets in and draws defenders, they have some shooters on that team. The best shooter in the NBA and Yuta Watanabe, but they had other shooters too, and Curry and Joe Harris.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough battle. But we got Julius Randle.
MVP, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, we do.
He just muscled the hell out of 3 Nets down under the bucket. He didn't make the bucket, but he got the foul call. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. This has been awesome. I'm so glad, J Ellis, we finally got to collab on something, and I'd totally be happy to come on the Nick of Time show.
Hell
sure.
Yeah. Let's see how these Knicks perform today. If the Knicks win today, I think around the NBA, the love for especially like ESPN, they're starting to like Kendrick Perk, the Perk. Big Perk has been throwing the love at the Knicks.
Yeah, Perk's been on it though.
Yeah,
It's the other guys that's been.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it'll get to the rest. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I want to tell people how they can find you and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So you can just find us at on YouTube at the nickoftimeshow.com. Put out a lot of content, and we bring guests, and hopefully, George will be on one day, and hopefully I'll be back here too as well. And you can also find us on the KOT Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram, the Nick of Time Show on Facebook, and also we have blogs too. Shout out to the writers of the nickoftimeshow.com. You didn't know, content creation, the guys who originated Nick's blogs has been Nick Time Show. I gotta pop my chest. So nickoftimeshow.com. Go read those blogs. All right, trendsetters, let's go.
Awesome.
Yeah, Nick of Time is a first for many things. First female content creator, and Kathy, and also the first one to have a blog. I love my boys, Mikey and Ken. Ken's the editor-in-chief over there. The first blog I go to after I write my own articles that I go to for my Knicks news and Knicks analysis is Nick of Time. And I love both these guys' shows, Nick of Time and Knicks-Verse. The only two Knicks podcasts that I listen to and watch, not just because I'm a guest on them. So yeah, you can find me arguing with J Ellis on Twitter at _Lee Escobedo. We got into it a little bit today. It's a short one, but we're usually fired up by each other on a daily basis. My favorite thing in the whole world to do is debate.
That's a fact. I was arguing about Cam earlier today.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm honored that you guys are both on the show. I've been wanting to have Lee and I got to collaborate recently, but I've been wanting to have you, J Ellis, on the show for quite a while. You've been one of my inspirations to even start the channel. For
That's
sure.
right.
I've always enjoyed your analysis. You're a fan, but you're also you enjoy the wins, but you also don't let it cloud your thinking about it. And I just love your insight and the way that you break games down. I've always enjoyed that.
I appreciate it.
So best of love for you guys, man.
Awesome. Sorry.
Yeah. No, we're going to sign off now. Thank you guys if you guys share this video and subscribe to both channels if you haven't yet. And if you have any thoughts later on, or you're watching this on replay, drop your comments. I read the comments. I love the comments that you interchange. Even when you disagree with me, I definitely enjoy all of that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, not everyone has to agree. That's the beauty of it all. It's there's a lot of this. It's opinion based, and often I'm right, but still.
That's how I feel.
Hey, IQ. You know how many people busted my balls about IQ?
Listen,
I'm like, JD and I used to argue all the time about it, and I'm like, look, this is what I believe. This is what I see. It's what I see. And then it's nice when it happens. That's why I don't want to give up Obi just for nothing, because I do, like, you guys agree with me on him and his potential.
Yep.
But there is a roadblock here for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, right.
But
You have in the building.
Yeah. We got All right. Well, thank you so much for watching this. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.